What's up, YouTube? Today, you know what we got, man. You see the thumbnail, you see the title, you already know what we about to get into, man. So we're gonna discuss it and let's get into it. But man, we got the gender pay gap, man. This is a hot topic that's been discussed a lot, especially as far as women is concerned, as far as the equal rights and, you know, from male and female perspectives. So today, man, we're gonna chop it up, man. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna dissect every part of it, man, trying to see exactly what they're talking about and if this is actually a thing. If this is actually a thing, man. So let's do the YouTube thing first, man. You know we gotta do it, man. You know what you can do, guys. Hit that subscribe button, man. Help the channel out, man. I'm looking for 500 subscribers by the end of September. It's my goal. I want to reach this goal, and we can get this goal, guys. So hit that like button, man. Comment down below, man. Let's get the engagement going, man. Let's speak on it. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
All right. On another issue, what is the gender workplace hours gap? The agency reports a workplace gender pay gap comparing male full-time employees and female full-time employees, but male full-time employees work longer hours on average than female full-time employees. And the agency doesn't account for this when reporting a workplace gender pay gap.
Using ABS data.
Okay, man. I know it's gonna be a little bit, bro. I promise you, I'm not gonna stop it too much. But just if you don't know what the gender pay gap is, man, it's when they took a study, man, where they took wages from males and wages from females and basically tried to equate them to see if males were getting paid more or the same as females doing the same job in the same environment, same workplaces, same everything. So females actually found out that they were getting paid a little bit less as far as not hourly work, but as far as wage, like salary, like yearly salaries were different because of a few factors. However, this individual, this congressperson, actually went in there and said, hey, what about the hourly wage gap? You accounted for the yearly salary gap, but you didn't account for hours worked. So that's what they're going to get into now. We're going to see her part of the argument, and we're going to see how he actually debunks it or actually debates it. So let's do it.
On employee earnings and hours, the gender pay gap as at May 2016 was 15.7%. It is a survey of employees, that information from the ABS. It's not a census. And it's only conducted every 2 years. They only collect the data every 2 years. What we do is we annualise our figure to full-time. So we look at all part-time employees and full-time employees that may have worked part of a 12-month period, and we annualise that data to take into account part-time hours. So therefore we're converting the part-time hours to full-time, if you like.
So do you take into account the fact that on average a male full-time employee works longer hours than a female full-time employee?
Not directly, no.
You don't?
But we annualise the part-time hours and those that...
Okay, you see the stumbling? You see the stumbling because he asked her a legit question that made her think. No emotion involved, just numbers. So basically it made her think about, hey, we really only did this by calculating yearly wages for annual salaries, not taking into an account that the male maybe works more than the female, because sometimes maybe the female is out due to pregnancy, due to maybe child care, or maybe due to, you know, certain other factors that may come into the play. I mean, not saying that males don't call out because of their kids, because they do. However, it just overwhelmingly shows that men do work longer hours than women.
Have worked full-time but for part of the year. So that way, because at the moment, what I can tell you is women work part-time at 3 times the rate of men. So by annualising it, we are looking at a more realistic...
So based on an annual salary?
Yeah.
What about if you did it on an hourly rate? What would be the gender hourly pay gap?
Well, we don't have that data set.
You don't have that data?
No, because we ask for annualised salaries and from our employers when they report their data in.
Okay, so if a woman was working fewer hours but earning the same rate per hour as a man doing the same job, would that show up as a gender pay gap?
One thing to come to a place complaining that something is not equal, but to come unprepared for any type of question. How hard was it to calculate hourly wages? The hourly difference between the wages. And what about the hours worked? What about that average? Why we can't get the difference between the hours worked? Why we can't get that data as well? If you're gonna prove your argument, at least have all types of data so you can just come back then with the bullets, the bullets, and come back with it. So let's go.
No.
But well, then in that case, you are looking at hourly rates.
You got it.
Janine Budov, Research and Analytics Executive Manager. So we do not collect the real hours that an employee might have worked. So what we do collect is the hours that are specified in a contract, and that is provided by organisations to us. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I mean, do you annualise it on the assumption that men and women are working the same number of hours, or is it actual earnings?
Actual earnings.
It's actual earnings, and we are unable to. We don't have the data to distinguish or to then adjust for hours, because we cannot collect the real hours that employees are working.
So it's not possible to tell whether any or some of the gender pay gap is just simply attributable to a different number of hours worked. Is that right?
It depends on whether we're looking at hours that are in contract, or whether we're looking at hours that employees worked as overtime.
Why is it you don't look at hours worked? You don't collect it, but the ABS does. It's available.
Facts.
The ABS does a survey, yes.
Every 2 years.
Yes.
But again, as I say, we collect census data, that is survey data. And the other thing I would say at this stage, Senator, is just because somebody might be sitting at their desk for 12 hours a day doesn't...
Here we go. He came there with straight facts. Tell me the numbers. Tell me the facts. You can't go with emotions. And she's about to get into the emotion part. She's about to tell you how she feels about the gender pay gap, not actual numbers, not actual facts. So we're going to get into it.
Doesn't mean you're getting 12 hours of productivity out of them, and doesn't mean that they're working in essence any harder than someone that may sit at their desk for 8 hours. So I don't think...
That's true, but they're getting paid for the 12 whether they're doing any work, or they're getting paid for however many hours they're sitting at their desk. And the issue for your agency is that if it's a male sitting at a desk, they're getting paid more than a female sitting at a desk. So the question is whether that, irrespective of the hours, the question is whether for those hours for which they're getting paid, is there a difference between men and women?
Silence.
So
we don't collect information on ours, Senator.
ABS does, so it's available. So if we put in a question on notice, will you access the ABS data and so you can answer that question?
Well, I did answer it earlier. I said that the ABS employee and earnings and hours data, as at May 2016, the gender pay gap was 15.7%.
That, if I understood you correctly, it's referring to annualised salary, is that right?
No.
What's the gap based on? Per hourly rates, or,
what is that percentage?
Or annual incomes, or annualised incomes, or what are we talking about here?
You hear all that paper rumbling in the background? That's because they're trying to find an answer, man, to fit what they're trying to present. And this is a way to be unprepared, right? You never go into an argument unprepared, man, because you're always going to come out the other end looking stupid. So you need to have these numbers. You need to have anything, any type of argument you have. You need to have the facts, man. You need to have concrete evidence. Facts are only something that you can look up that everybody can recognize as truth. Hey, am I right or wrong? Am I right? So for this case, this guy has he just come with some sound questions. Just came up and said, hey, okay, so I guess you going by annual salary. He's not debunking what they're saying or trying to cast off what they're saying. He's just saying, okay, well, that's accurate. However, we're talking about this. We're not talking about annual salary. We're talking about a wage gap as far as men and women getting paid different salaries for doing the same job. That's it. And they have no answers. This guy's good, bro. He's good.
Okay.
5 women, and none of them have the answer.
The EEH data, so that's the employee earnings and hours data, includes all employees regardless of employment status and reflects ordinary time cash earnings. The EEH survey produces hourly earnings for non-managers and can be used to produce a gender pay gap measure inclusive or exclusive of part-time employees. The EEH data can also be configured in a variety of other ways that are useful to the gender pay gap estimates, e.g. managerial versus non-managerial employees. The big drawback from where we sit is that EEH data was identified as being, is just done on a 2-year cycle.
I don't think I can think of many men who would find it acceptable that a woman, irrespective of how many hours she's working in the day, if she's doing the same amount of work as a man, or the same job as a man, was paid any less on the basis that she's a woman. I can't think of any men who would
go for
support that. And yet, because you're not looking at hours, we don't know whether that's occurring or not. Am I right there?
Senator, I think at this stage, as I've said to you, we are unable to collect and analyse that data. There are other countries, of course, that do that, and we will...
Not even every 2 years with the ABS survey data? You could do it at least every 2 years.
And I gave you the figure of 15.7% based on
annual
the calculation
salaries.
that we last did.
What's the 15.7 reflect?
So what I was about to say, Senator, is I'm happy to take that question on notice and go back and look at that last calculation that we did and provide you with the...
She's triggered. She's, so you can see the emotion in her tone, the way she's responding to questions. She's triggered, man. She's triggered, bro. And this, we're gonna end the video there. However, she's triggered, man. I'm gonna leave a full link to the whole video, man, so you can look at it in the description. But this is what happens, man, when you present, even men sometimes, bro. You gotta present your facts, man. Facts is facts. When you look at annual data for this wage gap, you can't compare a doctor's wages to a waitress's wages and say, hey, there's a gap. They're doing, or saying, hey, this is 2 doctors. One is a surgeon, one is a surgeon. How many hours does this surgeon work? And how many hours does this surgeon work? If the woman works more hours than the male, then there's going to be a gap. But if the man works more hours than the woman, then it's definitely going to be a gap. However, if you don't take into account for hours worked, you will never get the real figure. And there's ways, like you said, they have the data. They just choose not to use it. They chose to get the hourly annual wages because they saw the aha moment when they looked at the annual salaries for men and women for this particular period and saw 15%. So they say, we're going to go with that. And this is exactly how a lot of people think. So guys, let me know in the comments, man, what you think. If you like the video, man, hit that like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel, man, like I said. And until the next video, man, stay frosty, guys. Peace.